Good morning, everyone. Today we're jumping into week 3 of our Inside Out series. And so today we are going to talk about sadness. So last week we talked about joy. And in the movie, we see that joy and sadness get kicked out of emotion headquarters somehow and are trying to get back. And ultimately, sadness is the glue that holds it together. Sadness is the one that makes it happen. And so we see in Scripture when we are told that sadness comes, but joy comes in the morning. We also see sadness in the Scripture that Pastor Stephen will be talking about in his sermon, that King David experiences the death of his son. And while all decisions weren't made well, while things just happen in life, death comes, grief comes. Those emotions are hard, and it is a complicated world that we live in, and a complicated thing that's going on up here that we are able to truly understand our emotions. And so sadness is what we're talking about today. So I'm deviating a little bit from the scriptures that Pastor Stephen laid out for us, because he's lifted up a psalm, and we talked about that in our psalm series a couple months ago. So I'm going to read a couple verses from a different psalm today. So it's Psalm 34, and I'm going to read verses 17 and 18. So Psalm 34, verses 17 and 18. When the righteous cry for help, the Lord hears and rescues them from all their troubles. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. So there are times that we're not always going to be happy. We talked about that last week, that sometimes joy is hard to muster whenever we have these other emotions at play. That joy oftentimes wants to be and needs to be and should be the ultimate emotion. We should try to be happy. That's what society tells us. But there are times and experiences and things in our life that affect us so much that we can't always have joy be number one. We have to feel those other emotions and come out of those back into joy and truly be able to know that we can overcome things that are hard, that we can do hard things. We can go through sadness. We can go through fear, disgust, and anger, knowing that joy is always coming the next moment. So this psalm tells us that the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit, that there are times when we don't feel like we are good enough, smart enough, don't look the part, don't act the part. There are times when we have experienced things in our homes, in our home life, that are not making us happy. There are times in school where we might have failed a test, forgotten an assignment, and it brought down our grade. And there are times in our lives where we might have lost a ball game, lost something that was super important to us, that we put so much work into, and that we lost. That's the same way with a test at school. You studied, and didn't do as well as you expected. There are times when we feel like we've put all of ourselves into something, that we experience such sadness that we don't feel like God is there. So the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. God is with us. I know that's been kind of the mark of this series, that God is with us through joy, sadness, disgust, fear, anger. That God is with us when we are trying to figure out our emotions. That's always going to be the tagline these next few weeks, that God is with us. But today, ultimately in sadness, that there are times that we just have to figure out how to live it. Live within it, live with it, and try to move on from it. And God is there throughout that process. The Lord is near and saves us when we are crushed, when we feel like we can't do anything else or go any further. God is there. So think about that this week. Think about that as we try to draw nearer, whatever it is, to God. That God is always there, keeping us close, holding us close. And don't be afraid when you are feeling those emotions, reach out to somebody. Reach out to somebody, whether it's a parent or a friend or whoever, that you're experiencing these emotions and you need help processing them and working through them. People will be there for you. So think about that this week. And also, we are having youth tonight from 4 to 5:30 and dinner from like 5 to 5:30-ish. But we're going to play volleyball together, so I hope that you all can make it. And please let me know if you can make it, just so I make sure I have enough food for us. So thank you all again. We love you all as a church. We love you all as youth. And we hope to be able to see you all soon.